Out of all the planes that were added with the Apex Predators update, this is the one I've had the most fun with by far, and it's not even close. This is the J35XS, and if you want to get to top tier Sweden, I feel like this is the one to play. Of course, this is one of the new Rank 7 premiums, so it has a price tag of $70. Now, I personally would never spend $70 on a single airplane in a video game in a million years, and I know most of you guys probably wouldn't either, so I'm not going to tell you to just go buy this thing. If you really do want to grind out Sweden, I would say buy a talisman for whatever jet you find the most fun and do the best in. But if you have had your eye on this thing, I'm hopefully going to break down my experience well enough for you to determine whether or not you actually want to follow through with buying it. And spoiler alert, I have really had a good experience so far. The J35XS Draken is a premium rank 7 battle rating 10.7 fighter for Sweden. And honestly, this is one of the last planes I expected to genuinely enjoy with the Apex Predators update. And that's all thanks to the matchmaker this thing is getting right now. But before I talk about the matchmaker, let's talk about the J35 itself. This thing is a Delta Wing, so it's gonna fly like a Delta Wing. In the off chance you've never played a plane with a Delta Wing before, it basically means two things. You can turn extremely well, however, as soon as you do turn, you shit out all of your speed. For that reason, I don't usually enjoy playing Delta Wings all that much, however, this is a new exception. Now, knowing how a Delta Wing performs, you pretty much have a good idea of how this plane flies. Now, the weapon loadout is not too shabby. You can carry 6 RB-24Js, which are basically the Swedish version of AIM-9Js. Now, RB-24Js and AIM-9Js, typically when it comes to top tier, aren't the best missile. They're on the sort of lower end of the tier list of missiles at top tier, but honestly, I don't really consider this thing a top tier jet. Now, this plane also gets a single 30mm cannon that's kind of offset in the wing a little bit, which makes it a little bit weird to aim, and combining that with the fact it doesn't have any tracer rounds, the aim has not been hitting for me. And then rounding out this plane, you have 12 large caliber flares. Now, 12 flares is not much. Honestly, I kind of pretend I don't have flares and play the plane like that. I try not to show my afterburner to any of the A10s that I'm facing because you're gonna face a lot of A10s. Now, speaking of A10s, let's talk about the matchmaker the J35XS gets. So as I said, this thing sits at a battle rating of 10.7. Now, honestly, when I saw 10.7 before I played the plane, I expected most games to be 11.3 and 11.7 games. Boy, was I wrong. At the time of recording this specific section of video, I have played a total of 10 matches. Now today I actually decided to keep note of the matchmaker of each game, and to my bewilderment, I did not get a single up tier to 11.7 one time, and in fact, I only got an up tier at all one time. I got one 11.3 game, and in that 11.3 game, I didn't check the other team, but on my team, there were only 2 F14s, and those were the only 11.3s. Now what really blew my mind was how many full down tiers I got. Like I said, I played 10 games in this thing. 9 out of those 10 games were full down tiers to 9.7. And 9.7 games in a 10.7 jet when you have 6 RB-24Js and flares? Dude, this thing has been one of the easiest planes I have played in a really long time. However, there are some things you have to watch out for. You have to be very careful of the A6Es and the A10s you are facing on the other team. It is true that most of the time you're going to be going against US teams, so it's no surprise that A6Es and A10s are going to be your main opponents. Oh yeah, and I guess there are F5Cs you're going to see a lot, but I have honestly been seeing less of them in comparison to the A6Es and A10s. Now, if you do run into an F5C who really does know what they're doing, it's going to be pretty hard for you to kill him, but I have yet to encounter that, so we're chilling for now. Now, I probably should have mentioned this a little bit earlier, but for now, the matchmaker is extremely favorable towards the J35XS. So while I can, I am going to play the shit out of it. I think everything I've said so far accurately represents my experience with this plane, so let's get you some gameplay. Starting off this game, I got a couple F104s I'm trying to catch. Now, one of them dives down low, which is going to be great for me because that's going to close the distance enough for me to get one of my RB-24Js off. Now, it's an F104, I don't remember if it's an A or a C, it's an entirely US team, so he's not going to be dodging this missile. So that's my first kill. Skipping forward a few seconds, I've got my eye on this F5C below me, but I'm kind of swiveling around trying to see who else is around because after all, this is a sunset map and spotting is already like not good and it gets a lot worse when it's this time of day. Get close enough to get a missile off on the F5, that's going to track him down and kill him, and now I've really got to keep my eye on these A10s because they do have AIM-9Ls and I only have 12 countermeasures. Now, even though most of my games have been full down tiers in this plane, a full down tier means you're going to be seeing a lot of A10s, and A10s have a lot of AIM-9Ls. And as I stated, this plane only has 12 countermeasures total, so you have very, very few opportunities to actually flare away these missiles, especially 9Ls, because most of the time it takes a lot more than one push of the flare button to get rid of a 9L, even if you throttle drop. Looking back at this footage, you guys will probably notice that I'm constantly looking back at the A10s to see if one has somehow got nearby, even though there's no possible way of those things catching me. I'm just hyper paranoid of those 9Ls. Anyway, F4C in front of me shoot off a 24J, and he's not going to be able to do anything about that. He has no flares, so that's a literal free kill for me. Fast forward a few seconds, and I see an A10 at high altitude. I'm going to go towards him because if I try and kill the A10s below me, I will just completely forget about him and be killed by him. And then I look behind me, and an A10 fired a 9L at me, and I had to dump all of my countermeasures to get rid of that 9L. The A10 I was originally pursuing at altitude got taken out by my teammates, so now I can actually focus on the guys directly behind me. My teammates here had some pretty impeccable timing because all three of these guys are no longer looking at me and are trying to kill my teammates. Get one of my missiles off on the Harrier, he is going to go down. Line up the F5C, but I'm way too close for a missile shot, so I'm going to get close enough to get a gunshot on him, crit his tail, and he's going to go down as well. Now, we still got a whole lot of A10s up, and those really aren't an issue as long as they don't shoot those 9Ls at me, because as you can see, I am out of flares. At this point in the game, I'm hoping the A10s have shot most of their 9Ls off. A10 players typically will shoot their missiles off a lot of the times when they shouldn't, so a lot of those 9Ls get wasted, which I'm hoping is the case, but I'm pretty sure there's at least going to be a couple 9Ls still left with these 4 A10s, but I guess we'll see, huh? I'm kind of keeping my distance from the horde of A10s right now, and honestly, I was contemplating returning to base to get more flares, but eventually I decided just to stick it. Unfortunately, as soon as I actually committed to this, both of my teammates got killed by 9Ls, which was not exactly the most hopeful thing to see for me, but like I said, I'm already committed and I want to go ahead and kill all these guys if I can. Without my teammates distracting, I'm 100% expecting to take a 9L up the butt any second, but I get one 9J off on this A10 and he's not paying attention, so that's another quick kill, and I've still got, you know, 3 more right here. And since that A10 is shooting his gun at me, I'd say it's pretty safe to say he doesn't have any 9Ls left, which, you know, definitely a good sign. There just still are more A10s around. But lucky for me, this is the only one that is actively trying to kill me right now. This one in front of me looks like he's going to try and take the head on, and I, of course, am going to take some long-range shots, but those don't hit because I suck. So actually, I guess there are 2 actively trying to kill me now. Lucky for me, the third one that was flying around crashed into the ground, which is huge, so now I only have to deal with 2 instead of 3 for the time being. And at this point, I'm fairly confident that neither of them have their missiles left, because I took a head-on with one, he didn't shoot a 9L at me. A10 players typically do that in head-ons, and the other one's just been spraying his gun at me, which probably means he doesn't have any missiles left. But now that I've got some distance between the A10s and I'm gonna start taking it upwards into a bit of a climb, try and get these guys to chase me up, get them in a bit of an energy trap. Kind of funny being able to energy trap people in a J35. Luckily, the A10s are extremely slow, so it takes like literally 0 effort. Put my nose back down on the first one, line up a gunshot, get a little hit, and then take him out. And now I'll proceed to frantically look around because the other guy is no longer spotted. Oh look, I found him and he's not shooting at me. This is good. And now I'm basically going to do the exact same thing on the other one. He is chasing me, I am rapidly pulling away because I am a supersonic jet. He is not, so I'm just going to go straight up. Hopefully he follows. Looks like he's trying, but as soon as I start thinking about pitching down and trying to get the kill, I lose sight of him again. Well, I don't lose sight of him, he's just not spotted anymore, so now I just have to make sure I can see him, because a lot of times when I look away sometimes and look back, I will lose sight of him, and then I panic. Luckily, I didn't this time. Get an RB-24 off. He flares it away. No problem, though. He's literally right in front of me. Take a couple shots, and that's it. Nice little 8-piece in the J35XS. Now, I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I normally don't like Delta Wing jets, and I didn't expect to like this one at all, but the way the matchmaker is going for this plane right now, it's actually pretty fun. It is kind of a shame this thing is a premium and not in the tech tree. I think it should absolutely be in the tech tree because it's a cool plane that I wish everyone had access to without spending $70. Because that's how much it costs. Once again, $70, not 17, 70 US dollars for this plane. Now, right now, I really like this plane. I just don't think it's $70 worth. I don't think any virtual airplane is $70 worth. Anyway, the J35XS, it's really fun for now. Like 9 out of 10 games, it's a full down tier 9.7, which is kind of crazy. I'm going to continue to play this a bit more, and I'm going to leave a pinned comment tomorrow when I upload this video with the exact number of how many up tiers versus down tiers I've had, because I have been keeping note. I've kept note of every single game I've had and whether or not it was an up tier or a down tier or full up tier or full down tier. So that'll be there at some point after the video is uploaded. Or well, I actually might put it in the description. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, figured since not that many people are talking about this plane right now, I figured I'd go ahead and cover it, and luckily I had a good time doing it. What do you guys think about the J35XS? I understand if you want to buy it for $70, but I also understand if you think it's really stupid to buy a $70 virtual airplane. Alright, that's gonna be it for me today. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Christmas Eve, and happy holidays to everybody. Alright, that's gonna be it for me today. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.